In today's subscriber story, the older sister of the guy's best friend starts acting really weird. If you know what I mean, man. It escalates so much that at one point, I'm not going to spoil it. Enjoy the story. So the subscriber who sent this story in, he has a best friend, and his best friend's name is Ben. By the way, you can send in stories to my Instagram. It's in the description. Anyways, right, so Ben is his best friend, and he's been best friends with Ben for like 10 years at this point. He's been kind of like a lifelong best friend. And Ben has this older sister who is 1 year older than him. And let's call this sister Caroline. By the way, Ben isn't actually his real name, too. I never really use the real names ever, even if I was given them. So Ben is the friend. Caroline is Ben's older sister. The first event, or the first like happening, right? The first thing that like happened. It was, Ben was, or the sub was invited over to Ben's house. They were just gonna like, chill for a little bit. It wasn't like a sleepover or anything. It was just like a normal day, right? So, as the sub had done so many times in the past, goes over to Ben's house. The parents are out. It's just Ben there. They're probably just gonna like, chill, maybe play like some Call of Duty or something. I don't know. It's just like, not that big, no high stakes, no like big event or anything. They're just chilling at the house. So it's just Ben, it's just him, and it's also Ben's older sister Caroline, who's upstairs at the time, probably just like, I don't know, doing some like older sister things. Bro, I don't know what older sisters do. Like that's not me. I don't know, man. So the subscriber and Ben were just kind of like, playing some game, probably like Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or something, right? So they were just, they're chilling, playing that game. And eventually, they go to the kitchen. I think like Ben or maybe the subscriber, I'm not sure, either or. Like one of them was thirsty or just want to take like a little break. So they went to the kitchen, got some water, just kind of like, talking about stuff. They're in the same school as well. So they were talking about one of the classes that they had together. They had like a major assignment or something, and they weren't partners for it, but they, it was a similar assignment, so they could at least discuss it together. And they were just like, dude, I have no idea how to go about this, right? They're just chilling, having a pretty good time. And that's when Caroline comes down and like Ben, the subscriber had always like known Caroline because like Caroline was like Ben's older sister. So for that reason, he was like aware of her and she was aware of Ben or of the subscriber because like Ben would always hang out with him because Ben and the subscriber were really good friends. So Ben was like, okay, like I'm gonna go like back over to the game room or the living room or wherever they're playing the game, right? And then the subscriber was like, all right, let me refill my water. He's like, bet, I'll meet you there, right? So Ben goes over to the game room. The subscriber goes to refill his water, and Caroline, Ben's sister, is just kind of like hanging out in the kitchen. She's on her phone, and when she notices Ben completely leave, she says like, hey, how you doing? Like to the subscriber, and the subscriber's like, good, like thanks. Haven't seen you in a while. And it actually had been a couple years since he had seen Ben's older sister because he had seen Ben a lot since then. But, I guess he's only been to Ben's house a couple times. And those couple times in that long period of time, he just like didn't run into her. Maybe she was just doing something else. Either way, right? He'd seen Ben a lot, but he had not seen his older sister in quite a while. So yeah, so then Ben's older sister was like, yeah, man, it's been a second, you're looking good. And Ben, the subscriber, keep mixing up him and Ben, sorry. The subscriber doesn't actually think much about this until later on. He's like, oh, thanks, like you too, like appreciate that. But the way she said it, she had this like look on her face. She had like a little bit of like a smile, like a little bit of like a wink, bro. Like she had a little bit of something when she said that, a little bit more energy than normal, right? That wasn't just a casual compliment is what I'm trying to say. So Caroline, Ben's older sister, then is like to the subscriber, it's like, oh, well, it's been nice seeing you again. I hope to see you more. Like, make sure to stick around. And if you're ever around, let me know. Maybe we can hang out or something. And once again, the subscriber didn't think anything of this. So Ben's older sister had complimented how he looked and asked to hang out. But since, like, he'd been friends with Ben for so long, he just assumed these were, like, common courtesies or just the older sister being nice to him. Because eventually she did go back upstairs. Like, hey, like, I do have to, I'm in the middle of something. Like, I have to go back up, right? But I hope to see you around. Call me. And he just kind of assumed that was like a ha-ha funny comment. And he wasn't really paying attention to the body language of the sister. But it becomes more apparent later. The only reason why the subscriber even like was telling me about this now is because the later situations, which you will hear about, made him think back to this moment and be like, oh my God, I was so stupid. I didn't even realize. Pause. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. All right, play. All right, so this second event, because there's kind of 3 events and they each escalated more and more. The event I just told you about before was really just like a little bit. It was just like preliminary. It was just like setting the scene. This second event gets a little bit more interesting, is a way to put it. Anyways, right, so Ben and the subscriber, they want to go see a new movie. And this new movie is pretty popular. I don't even know what it was. I wasn't told, but it was pretty popular, but it also was like appealing to a wide audience, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't like a very niche, I don't know, movie that only Ben and the subscriber would like. For that reason, the sister wanted to come along too. And this was about like 3 weeks after the last incident. So Ben, like, honestly had no problem with it because him and his sister, like, didn't have a relationship where Ben was like always annoyed with her. They weren't like incredibly close, like they weren't like boys with each other, because I know some people have relationships like that with their siblings, but they really didn't mind each other's company, because I know a lot of siblings really are just like not a fan of hanging out with each other for way too long. But they didn't mind each other's company, and obviously the subscriber had no issue with, you know, Caroline coming, because she had been really nice to him last time he saw her, and also he had quote unquote partially known her for like 10 years at this point. Not really, but he had known of her, and he's best friends with Ben, so of course she can come, right? So they go over to buy some popcorn. If you don't know, at the movie theaters, they don't really make a lot of money. This is what I've heard. They don't make the money on the tickets. They make the money on the food. So the food is always marked up so much, man. Like, it's an incredible amount of money for very basic food items. But anyways, right, they go to buy some, you know, snack items for the movie. Movie starts in like 5 minutes, and they go to buy some popcorn. And they look at the options, and they look at their wallet. Ben looks at how much money he brought, and, you know, the subscriber and the older sister, they just didn't have their wallets on them. Don't totally know why, but they just didn't have money on them. Ben was the only one who had money, and since Ben didn't have a credit card or anything, he only had physical cash bills. He looked at how much money he had, and he realized that they could only get one small popcorn and then one, you know, large popcorn to share between two people instead of 3 small popcorns. That's just how it worked out. So Ben said, hey, look, I'll take the small popcorn, because he knew that like having the small popcorn was going to be less popcorn than sharing the big popcorn with someone, because there's also like a medium option, but it just didn't work for their budget. So, you know, the subscriber was like, okay, yeah, like Caroline and I can share the large popcorn. This is where things get interesting. So they go to the movie theater, they sit down, and obviously Caroline and the subscriber sit next to each other because they have to, because they're sharing the popcorn, right? And, you know, they sit down and the movie starts playing and, you know, they're eating their popcorn. Do you know the classic movie scenes where it's like you meet hands in the popcorn? It's like, oh my God, so romantic, so cute. You know that like classic movie scene or cartoon scene, and like the hands could join in the popcorn. It's like, oh my God. Then they get married and have 6 children and worry about their Roth IRA and sending up and starting a college fund. You know how it goes. But anyways, right. So they're at the movie theater. They're watching the movie, and, you know, Ben, the subscriber, keep mixing them up. God damn, they can't. The subscriber and Ben's older sister, Caroline, they're eating popcorn, but then Caroline, right, goes to grab his hand in the popcorn, and not like grab it, but like, you know, just went for the hand, right? Because the subscriber reached in to get some popcorn, right? And Caroline very tactically reached her hand in as well. And she, you know, at first the subscriber thought it was like an accidental grab, right? Totally understandable. Like, oh, we're both reaching for popcorn at the same time. Our hands touched. Haha, yeah, that's a little awkward. But then he realized that she wasn't letting go. And he looked up to her, and she was looking, like, staring straight at the movie and was, like, kind of smiling. And he was like, he was just like, oh, what is going on? What is going on? Help, someone, what? So he's like holding her hand for like a minute because he doesn't know what to do. He's too like afraid to just pull it out normally, because that'd be so awkward just to sit. It's awkward no matter what, man, but that'd be awkward to sit next to her. And he's just like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Quickly stands up, and obviously she kind of lets go of his hand after he stands up, because she didn't want to like stand up with him. I mean, maybe she wanted to go to the bathroom with him. But no. You know what I mean? No, but he went off to the bathroom. That was his diversion, right? And it was like far enough into the movie that he was able to stall it long enough that he just got back from the bathroom in time that like there was like 5 minutes left in the movie. The popcorn was basically out. He obviously didn't reach for more popcorn, right? That was basically the second event. The third event is probably the third event is the one that's like, you can't question it away. You can't be like, oh, she accidentally grabbed her. This is the one that's like the most out of pocket, the most absurd, the one where like it just went way too far. Today's secret word is sister. So if you made it this far into the comment section, comment sister down below. I just like to see how many people made it this far. And to see how many people make it this far into the video, I ask you guys to comment a secret word in the comment section down below. And I do my best to heart as many as I can. I can't heart all of them, but it's the easiest way to get a free heart and try and be a top commenter on the channel. With that being said, back to the story, and this is when it gets good. The third and final incident involves a sleepover. So you know it's going to be good, right? So the subscriber is having a sleepover at Ben's house. Like, they've been planning this for a while. It's going to be pretty fun. Like, he's planning to come over. They're going to, you know, play some games, right? Watch a movie, stay up pretty late. And yeah, it's going to be a fun night, or at least he thought it was going to be a fun night in a not awkward, weird situation. But, you know, sometimes you're not right about everything, man. It is what it is. It's just life. Wait, so the sleepover is going pretty well. And the subscriber noticed that Ben looks pretty tired. But, you know, they're playing some rounds of, like, Call of Duty. They start a movie, and they're just, like, sitting there. And they're about halfway through the movie when Ben's like, dude, I am so sorry. I'm absolutely exhausted. Like, I know, like, I should have, like, you know, slept a little more the night before. Like, I knew you were coming over. And, like, it was, like, 11. So it wasn't, like, super early. But Ben was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I just got to go to bed. And the subscriber's like, bro, don't worry about it. Like, I get it. Big assignment. Like, because they turned in the assignment they were talking about weeks ago, the night before. So, like, or, like, the day of. So this sleepover was, like, big celebratory, but Ben was up really late last night. So subscriber's like, I get it. Ben's like, hey, just stay here. You can finish the movie. And the subscriber's like, I think I will. I haven't seen this yet. Like, I'll come up pretty soon. Let me just say that the subscriber should have gone up with Ben. Crisis would have been averted. Anyways, right, so Ben goes up. He's tired. He goes to bed. And the subscriber's just sitting there on the couch watching, you know, the movie. So the subscriber's, like, there for, like, 15 minutes when he hears, you know, footsteps down the stairs and sees, you know, Caroline, Ben's older sister, you know, come on and sit on the couch with him. And he's like, hey, what's up? She's like, hey, you know, how's it going? Like, I don't know. I saw you were, like, watching this movie, and, like, I don't know. I've seen a little bit of it, but I want to watch a little more. And he's like, oh, do you want me to rewind any bit? And she says, no, I watched about to this point. Little sus, but, like, whatever, right? Fine. So I'm not going to over-explain what happens next too much, but they're kind of just sitting there, and the subscriber kind of feels like her, you know, closing in a little bit, and he just doesn't think much of it. But basically, right, Caroline makes a move. The sister makes a move, and the subscriber kind of, like, rejects it more or less. He kind of, like, backs off. He's like, whoa, like, whoa. Because here's the thing, like, Caroline, in his opinion, was a good-looking girl, right? He would have happily accepted all these moves if she wasn't his best friend's older sister, right? That's a huge, like, caveat, right? It's not like, oh, she is. And he just looks at her and he says, hey, like, it's not that I don't think you're attractive. I really do, but you're my best friend's older sister. And she kind of just looks at him, and she's like, kind of gets all flustered and, like, runs upstairs. He's like, like, this is now a situation that I got to deal with. Like, and he's like, I just know for a fact this is not over. The next day in school, like, he's just walking around, and he sees Ben come up to him. And Ben kind of has this really intense look in his eyes. He's like, dude, no. What did the sister tell him? And at first, he was just like, he was convinced that Ben was going to think that, like, the sister was lying, and that, you know, the subscriber actually, you know, tried to get with the sister, not the other way around. And that he was going to, like, really have a stand on his friendship with his best friend. Ben comes up to him, is like, look. And the subscriber's like, dude, like, and he's like, don't even say anything, like, I'm so sorry. And then the subscriber's like, oh, okay. He's like, it wasn't appropriate for what my sister did. Not acceptable at all. I'm so sorry. Like, I get it if you don't want to ever come over again. And the subscriber's like, no, dude, like, I enjoy hanging out with you. Like, it doesn't even matter. Let's just forget about it and move on. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And if you want to support the channel, watch another video or just binge watch a bunch of stories. Easy way to do that is Storytime playlist. In today's subscriber story, the subscriber accidentally walks in on his best friend's sister, and it was pretty awkward. Enjoy the story. So the subscriber has a best friend who he's known for like 10 years, and for the sake of this video, let's just call the dude Ben. I know I've used Ben a lot, but hey, it's a pretty solid name. Anyway, so Ben also had an older sister who we'll be calling Kiki. She's kind of irrelevant for like the first minute or two, but she becomes pretty integral to the story in just a second, as you guys will see. Final bit of important information is that Kiki, who is Ben, older sister, right? She had a boyfriend, and let's call this guy Jack, right? So Jack and Kiki had been in a relationship for like probably like 2 years at this point. It was a long-term relationship. And so the subscriber was actually kind of friends with Jack, but it wasn't like super close friends because, there's a bit of an age gap. And Jack was kind of just like a mentor figure. Like the subscriber would go to Jack when he had any questions about like school, relationship, life, etc. Anyways, right. So the day of the story, the subscriber is invited over to Ben's house for a sleepover. As you know, Ben and the subscriber are good friends. They're in the same grade. They've been hanging out a lot more recently. And yeah, he's coming over for a sleepover. They're probably going to watch a movie, play some Xbox. It's like, have a really solid Friday night, man. Just like a really good Friday night. Like just something to look forward to. You have a long week, but if you have a good Friday night planned, you can get through a lot. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, right. So, the actual day the sleepover happens, the subscriber goes over to Ben's house. I hope I've not been calling Ben Jack, by the way. Jack is the boyfriend of Ben's older sister. Sometimes juggling all these like fake names in my head gets complicated. Anyways, right, so, the subscriber and Ben, they're watching a movie and they decide to go into the kitchen, have a little bit of a water break. Like it was about halfway through the movie anyways. I think Ben wanted to get some snacks or something. The subscriber was kind of thirsty, so he's getting some water. So they're in the kitchen and, the sister, Kiki, was there. And, since, the subscriber had been friends with Ben for a while, he had known kind of Kiki, right? She was down there and, she was like, oh, hi, like subscriber. Didn't say his name because I don't know it. And also I'm not going to leak it, right? But she was like, oh, hi there. Like I haven't seen you in so long. Like it's good to see you again. Like hope everything's going well. And at this point, I think Kiki was probably like, either in her first year of college, but I think more likely she's like a senior in high school. And he was like, yeah, how's that going? The subscriber is asking like, is life good? All that kind of small talk like that. And they just had like a very nice, friendly interaction. Let me just say that the next interaction between the subscriber and Kiki, the older sister, it just didn't go down as cleanly. It just wasn't as smooth as you'll probably see in a second. He's right. So Ben and the subscriber, they eventually, they get their food, they get their snacks, they go back, they finish the movie. Pretty solid movie, right? So, they're kind of like, I don't know, it's got to be like 10, 11. It's not so late that, they want to go to bed, but they still want to, they want to go up, they want to do something. They don't want to go and invest into like another movie or something because, that would just be too late. And they kind of just want to switch it up. So they say, Ben's like, hey, do you want to go upstairs to my room and we can play some Xbox or something before we, call it a night? And subscriber's like, yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. Been a second since I've hopped on, Xbox. So it'd be nice to go on there again. And yeah, so anyways, they head up to Ben's room they head up to Ben's room. I got the name right. Points for me. Nice. Good job, me. So they get to Ben's room and, the Xbox is there and there's the bed. And then Ben's kind of looking around and he finds one controller, right? So he hands it to the subscriber and he just can't find the other controller. He's like, dude, where's the other controller? I had two at one point. Like I didn't like take them anywhere. So he's kind of thinking about it for a second. He's like, oh yeah, like the other controller's in Kiki's room. He doesn't totally know. The subscriber's like, dude, why? And he's like, dude, I don't even know, but I just know for a fact it's there. So anyways, right, the controller's in Kiki's room and the Ben's like, can you go get it? And because I don't know, he's like setting up the game or something or tweaking with his Xbox, trying to get that all set up and such. The subscriber's like, dude, like, I don't want to go into your sister's room. He's like, dude, it's fine. Like, she knows who you are. Like, it's not a big deal. So, right, the subscriber's like, all right, bro, like, I'll go to your sister's room and I really hope it's there or it's going to be kind of weird. And he's like, dude, it's there. Trust me. And the subscriber's like, okay, yeah, sure. No, I'll just go to your sister's room. He's like, okay, do it. And he's like setting up the game or whatever. And the subscriber's like, all right, fine. Like it's a little weird, but I'll go over, right? So he goes over starts walking down the hall and he sees that, Kiki's room is, it's like a little bit, it's not locked. The door's a little bit open. There's also light in the room, meaning that someone's there. She also kind of like hears like, some noise. So he's like, okay, she's there. So he goes up to the door. By the way, real quick, if you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like in the video, if you do those two things, you will receive literally nothing, which is a fantastic deal. I know, I'm just feeling so generous today. I'm just such a wonderful person for doing that. I'm already aware of that, but anyways, back to the story. The subscribers, he's like walking down, the hallway, and he's going to the door, and he sees it's like a crack open, and there's light coming from it, and there's someone inside. So what he does is he kind of like, he knocks on the door, And he starts asking, like, he's like, hey, like, is there a controller in here? But the thing is, instead of like knocking at the door and waiting, he's kind of like going on autopilot, and he kind of sees that the door's already open. So you know how you knock on a door and you're like opening it at the same time? That's exactly what he was doing. He was walking into Kiki's room, knocking on the door while opening the door, while asking the question, hey, do you have a controller in here? Like, Ben says that there's a controller in here. So that was a bad call. Let me just say that. So, just to put it lightly, that was a very bad idea. So as he's like opening the door, he's like, hey, do you have a control? And then, he looks straight ahead because the bed is facing the door. She's with some random guy who he doesn't recognize, right? And, they weren't doing something the second that, he walked in. They weren't, in the middle of anything as he was, looking at them. But it was very, 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 very apparent, right? It was extremely apparent. It was so transparent. Okay, you get the point. It was very obvious what they were doing, 1 millisecond before that half-open door was opened by the subscriber. And Kiki just looks at him and the thing is, though, real quick, tangent, Kiki doesn't know that, the subscriber and her boyfriend at the time, who was definitely not the guy in the bed, were actually kind of close. She had no idea. So she, wasn't worried or anything. She wasn't worried that, the subscriber would tell, Jack? Yeah, Jack's his name. But she was mad that he walked in on her when she didn't want anyone walking in. So Kiki looks at him and says, why did you not knock? And, the subscriber starts to go I knocked. And then she's like, dude, get out of my room. And very aggressively. And the subscriber's like, yeah, of course. So he's walking back. And before he even it really registers that she was cheating on her boyfriend, the first thing that just occupies his brain is just dude, why me? Why me? Why couldn't Ben do this? It would be so less awkward if it was Ben. It wouldn't be great if it was Ben, because Ben probably wouldn't even knock. He would just barge right in there. But at the same time, dude, I don't even know this girl. At least Ben's just, he was just upset with the fact, how reality works. So he walks back to Ben's room, and, Ben looks at him because he's got the game all set up. He's like, dude, where's the controller? And he's like, he looks at Ben, he's like, bro, I just walked in on her with some guy. It's so, he's like, dude, just, I can't go back there. I honestly can't go back there. I'm sorry. I didn't get the controller. And as the subscriber's saying this, it's starting to his brain's starting to realize, right? He's starting to comprehend the fact that it wasn't Jack in that bed. It wasn't Jack, right? It wasn't her boyfriend of over 2 years and also his mentor or whatever, the dude he looked up to. It was some random dude. And he was also very sure that at the time they were still, Jack and this girl, Kiki, were still in a relationship because he saw Jack a couple days before and he talked about it. And because the subscriber asked Jack for advice about relationships, and Jack was going off about how great of a relationship he had. So yeah, it kind of sucked because he was sitting there realizing that, he had to do the right thing and break it to Jack. He had to. So then he kind of turns to Ben. He's like, and Ben's about to be like, fine, I'll go in there. He's like, dude, wait, hold up. And Ben's like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, bro, isn't she in a relationship with Jack? And Ben's like, yeah, they've been in a relationship for 2 years. Was it not him? And the subscriber just looks at Ben with this face. And Ben's face starts to drop a little bit. And he's like, it wasn't Jack? And the subscriber's like, no, dude, it was some random guy. And he's like, well, what if they were just studying or something? What if it was a project? And the subscriber looks at Ben like, dude, let me just say, I didn't necessarily see anything, but just the context. If you were there, you would have known for a fact that, it wasn't just a little study sesh, a little harmless little study project group, whatever, right? It was some straight on not that. That's about as far as I want to go. So Ben, who's also had a lot of conversations with Jack because Jack's been dating his sister for 2 years at this point, and Ben also really liked Jack as just a person, dude to dude. He just really appreciated him because he was just a good guy. He just had everything in the right place, right? And Ben was a little bit in disbelief. He's like, no, dude, it probably was Jack, right? You you just probably like left the room really quickly. Like you probably just like you probably saw him from like a weird angle or something. And the subscriber's like, dude, no, I saw what I saw. And then, Ben's like, okay, well, so Ben goes up to his window and he looks outside and he looks at the car in the driveway because there's like his parents' cars or car or whatever. And then, he knew what Jack's car looked like. And he looked at the car in the driveway, and sure enough, it was a car he just does not recognize at all. And he kind of just like turns back. He's like, maybe Jack just got a new car, right? Because he was really kind of like trying to like, he was trying not to believe the truth at this point. And the subscriber said, and kind of probably something that wasn't the smartest thing to say, he said, you can go look for himself because, Ben actually went to go look for himself. He didn't even, like, go in to ask for the controller. He literally just barged into the room and, the subscriber was just kind of, like, sitting in Ben's room. He hears, like, a door slam open, and then he hears kind of, like, screaming and yelling coming from Kiki, Ben's sister, and then Ben walking into his room with his, like, face kind of, like, flushed, and he's like, dude, yeah, that is definitely not Jack. Like 100%. Like, oh my God. Like, yeah, my sister is cheating on her boyfriend. Yeah. So the subscriber and Ben just like, they sit on the bed and they're just like, okay, bro, like, wow, like that sucks. And the subscriber looks at Ben. He's like, dude, I gotta tell him. And Ben's like, I don't want to get my sister in trouble. And then he's like, but Jack's such a good guy. He deserves to know. Like, he honestly just deserves to know better. Like I love my sister, of course, because like she's my sister, but I don't want her hurting anyone like this. And, they had a pretty, like, it was not an open relationship. Like, they definitely knew that. And obviously, if it was, then, like, Jack wouldn't have cared. So why would it matter that he told him? Like, so the subscriber is like, yeah, I just got to tell him. So the subscriber whips out his phone and he, texts Jack and he's like, dude, can we hang out tomorrow? And Jack's like, yeah, sure. Like, well, anything on your mind? He's like, yeah, this isn't going to be a great conversation. Like, just prep yourself. It's not going to be great. And Jack was probably thinking at the time, like, that, so the subscriber was going through something or he was having lady issues or something. Definitely not that his girlfriend was cheating on him, but whatever, right? So Jack is like, yeah, of course, bro. Like, I'll be there. And then he texts him as well. He said, do you mind if I bring Ben too? And the dude's like, yeah, of course. I love Ben. Like, Kiki's little brother. Like, of course he can come. And the subscriber's like, ooh. Kind of referred to you as Kiki's little brother. That's interesting. So about an hour passes, and they're just kind of like online. They're just kind of like browsing YouTube at this point because they don't have the other Xbox controller. They can't play Xbox, but they're also like, one, it's not late enough for them to go to bed, and two, they're pretty wired because of the whole thing. They just like a bunch of adrenaline, right? Because they just like they just walked in on something they shouldn't have, or at least Ben knew what he's walking into, but he had to like confirm or whatever. So they're just kind of like they're chilling, whatever, right? And then you hear a knock on the door about like an hour and a half later, and they're just like, is it like are like Ben's parents like want us to go to bed or something? Like, it's not even that late at this point, man. And also they really don't care. But when Ben goes to answer the door, he opens it, and the subscriber sees that Kiki's at the door. He's like, oh, no. And the Kiki's like, hey, Ben, can I talk to you for a second? And the subscriber's just waiting in Ben's room, like kind of just waiting there, hearing kind of like a muffled conversation. And then he hears Ben say, yeah, no, 100%, I get it. Like, I get it. And he comes back in the room, and the subscriber's like, what was that? And Ben says, hey, my sister told me that under no circumstances can I tell Jack. And the subscriber's like, dude, Jack needs to know. And he says, yeah, I 100% agree. She didn't say anything about you. So, I will not be able to join you tomorrow. And he cannot, he's just got to, like, when he breaks up with her, because he definitely is going to break up with her, he's got to know that it was you who said it, not me, because I will be destroyed and I live with her and she will make my life a living hell, basically. But you don't live with her, so you're telling him, not me. So, the subscriber had to do it alone. He understands why Ben couldn't. And honestly, as long as someone was telling Jack, that didn't really matter, So, the next day rolls around and Jack comes over to the subscriber's house. He's like, what's up, bro? Like, how's life been? And the subscriber, like, right away just kind of like gets into it. He's like, dude, look, this isn't going to be a really fun conversation and I'm really sorry. And Jack's like, okay. He's like, I was at Ben's house. And his sister, Kiki, yes, her girlfriend, he's like, yeah, Kiki. He's like, no, don't start that. It's not gonna be good. He says, yeah, sorry, bro. Like, I was at Ben's house and I happened to walk into Kiki's room and I'm sorry, but she was cheating on you with another guy. And Jack's face just goes from like, to like, what? And at first she's like, dude, no, it definitely like wasn't what you think it was. And he's like, no, it's 100%. Like I even like, Ben was supposed to come too, but she told him specifically not to talk to you about it. But she didn't say not to for me not to talk to you, because she doesn't know that we're friends or whatever. And he's like, if I ask Ben, will he confirm? And the subscriber's like, yeah, Jack, I'm sorry. If you ask Ben, he saw it too, and he's also going to tell you that Kiki said not to talk to him or not to talk to you. So I'm sorry, like I wouldn't make this up. And he's like, I got to break up with her. He's like, dude, it was a very strict relationship. Like we both made an oath not to cheat on each other. This was in no way an open relationship. And subscribers like, yeah, Jack, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, little bro, stay around. I want to show you how it's done. Like take this as a life lesson if you're ever in this situation. So Jack is just like, or the subscriber's just like, oh, it's about to go down, boys. It's about to go down. So, Jack, rings her up and he says, hey, the subscriber, and says his name, right, was at Ben's house, and he says that you were cheating on me. And there's just like silence on the phone. And he said, also, apparently you told Ben not to talk to me. And the subscriber's like, dude, don't get Ben in trouble. Don't get Ben in trouble, right? But it doesn't matter, right? He was already going off. He's like, yeah, and I just by the way, I thought it was pretty clear that cheating was not a thing that we thought was okay. I guess I wasn't clear about that. Like he was kind of being like a little sarcastic about it, but understandably so, man. Like he's allowed to be salty. He just got cheated on in a 2-year-long relationship. Like, oh my God, like, okay, right? He was taking it pretty well. And he's like, hey, I don't like doing this over the phone, but I thought I had to do this as soon as possible. And yeah, we're breaking up. And he just shuts it off. He was like, normally it's better to break up with someone in person, but I just want to get it done with as soon as possible. And the subscriber's like, oh, wow, man, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, like, it is what it is. Life is life. Like, I'll be sad for a while, but you just keep pushing. And the subscriber's like, this is why I like this guy. This is why I like this guy. Well, the story is, yeah, don't cheat. Subscribe if you haven't already, then watch another story video. In today's story, the subscriber meets the creepiest sister on the entire planet. Enjoy the story. So the subscriber sent in this story, his name's, let's call him Tommy, right? Tommy's a good kid. He's a good guy, right? And, Tommy has recently met this new guy, and this new guy, let's call this guy Sam. So Tommy's the subscriber, and Sam's Tommy's new friend. And Sam's really cool, man. Like, Tommy and Sam actually have a lot in common. And he's just, like, one of those guys, Sam's just, like, one of those guys who's, like, always been around. He's always gone to school with Tommy, but they just never hung out. And for some reason, right, maybe they had a project together. For some reason, I don't even know. They're kind of exposed to each other, and they found out that they actually had so much in common and really, like, they really messed with each other, man. Like, it was like one of those friendships that, the person was there the whole time, you just didn't even know. So Tommy and Sam, they started chilling at school a lot, right? They're hanging out a lot. And then, one day, Sam's like, hey, dude, like, do you want to come over to my house? Like, we can play some Xbox, like, just kind of chill there, maybe in a more relaxed environment. And, the thing is, like, Tommy's like, yeah, of course. Like, that sounds great. Like, I'd love that, bro. Like, of course. And Tommy's pretty excited, man. Like, at the end of the week, he was going to go over to his friend's house. He's just going to chill, play some Xbox, just have a really good time. Like, it was going to be a good ending to the week. Definitely not going to have any super psycho, stalker, weirdo, creepy sisters. Nope, definitely not. That's definitely not the title of this video. Definitely not a massive spoiler to what's about to happen. Because Tommy definitely didn't have any super weird sisters that would do weird stalker. You get the point. Anyways, right, so, skip to the whole, like, the hangout day, right? So, Tommy comes over to Sam's house, and Sam's like, what's up, bro? Like, welcome to the crib, whatever, right? So, it's a Saturday. It's a good day, right? They're just chilling. And, they flip on some Xbox games. I don't know exactly what they're playing, but they're having a pretty good time, right? They're doing their thing. They're having a good time. And, yeah, so, they're in the middle of some game, maybe some, like, COD zombies or something. They're just, like, doing whatever they're doing, right? And then, Tommy, the subscriber, he hears some steps. Here's some steps coming from the stairs that are, like, directly behind him, and he doesn't really think anything of it. Like, maybe it's like a sister, maybe it's some parents, maybe it's, I don't know, like, their dog, maybe it's their pet, 15-foot tarantula, all these normal things that honestly could be. So he didn't really think anything of it. And then they hear the footsteps, or at least Tommy hears the footsteps stop. And it wasn't like they walked out of the room or they walked to another room. It's the footsteps, they kind of just stopped.
as if someone was like walking down the stairs and then saw them and stopped and started watching them, as if that was the case. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. And it's like, Tommy was feeling this presence watching him. The hairs on the back of his neck start to stick up. And he just turns around. He's like, turns around and he sees this girl. This girl that kind of looks like Sam. So he makes the assumption, okay, that's Sam's sister. Just staring at them with these like big wide open eyes. And then Sam, who realizes that Tommy just turned around and is distracted, pauses the game on screen, right, whatever it is, and says like, yo, like, Natalie, why? And she's like, hi, I didn't know you had a friend over. And Sam's like, yeah, this is my sister Natalie. This meet my friend. He's pretty cool. Meet Tommy. I just met him. He's a cool dude. Like, just playing some COD or whatever. Like, is there anything you'd like? Natalie's like, nope. Nice to meet you, Tommy. And Tommy's like, nice to meet you, Natalie. This is a great first impression, not totally you being super weird or whatever. Yeah, this is a fantastic first impression. I don't think I've had a better first impression. It was not a good first impression. He's a nice guy. So he's like, hey, Natalie, how's it going? Hope things are good. Right, so they go back to the game. They go back to like COD Zombies or whatever, and they're doing pretty good. And Tommy's pretty into the game. He's really kind of like grinding it out. And but then he gets that feeling, right? He gets a little weird feeling, like hairs on the back of his neck kind of stand up a little bit, and he's just kind of like, why? And he turns around, right? And Natalie, Sam's sister, is staring at him and then quickly like turns away to like look at the game, as if she was like staring at the game the whole time, but she was obviously staring at at Tommy. So Tommy turns back around, and then Sam turns around. He's like, Natalie, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just watching you guys play the game. He's like, okay, it's a little weird, but okay. Natalie's like, fine, I'll go, like, whatever. And, she leaves at this point. And Sam is, Tommy is a little bit like, okay, whatever. That's a little weird, but I'll get over it. I'll get over myself. It is what it is, right? And, so, they finish their game. And they both like basketball. And, Sam happens to have, like, a basketball hoop outside of, like, his garage or whatever. So it's like, yo, do you want to, like, just throw some hoops or something? And Tommy's like, yeah, let's, that sounds really good. I mean, part of Tommy was just kind of excited to, he liked playing COD Zombies, don't get me wrong, but he kind of wanted to get out of the house because he didn't like the whole feeling of being watched, right? So they're playing like one man like defending, one man trying to shoot. I don't know basketball that well, so I can't give you like super technical terms. But anyways, right, so they're rotating back and forth. They're pretty evenly matched, and it's a pretty chill, light game. They're not like super stressing. They're not being some like sweaty gamer Minecraft kid clicking at the equivalent of like 500 CPS, whatever that would be. I don't know what that'd be in basketball. But being like a super sweaty nerd or anything, they're just having a chill game. So, and at this point, right, Tommy is now trying to score. He's trying to shoot. And, Sam is defending. And, right above the garage is a window. Right above the garage is a window. So, it's above the hoop. The hoop's below it. And Sam's looking up to take a shot. He's trying to make it, right? He's trying to make a dunk. He's trying to make some hoops or whatever, right? And he looks up into the window, like he just naturally, his eyes flash up there, and he locks eye contact with Natalie, who's staring right at him. And he kind of fumbles and kind of like completely misses the ball. And Sam's like, bro, you good? And he notices that like Tommy has been looking at the window a little bit. He's looking at a weird direction. So Sam comes over, turns around, looks up and sees Natalie up there, and he kind of like screams like, Natalie, what? Like, what are you doing? You're being so weird. And Natalie like quickly runs away from the window. And Sam's like, dude, I'm so sorry. My sister's a little weird, but this is like excessive. I'm so sorry. Speaking of windows, the secret word of the day is window. So if you made it this far into the video, I'd like you to go down, comment window down below. I'm going to be trying to heart as many of those as I can, but I'm going to be honest, like hearting comments has been difficult because there's just been so many comments, which honestly I'm super grateful for. Thank you for all the support on the recent videos with the likes and all that good stuff, right? So I will do my best to heart as many as I can, but I'm actually going out for the next couple days. I'm going to have a good New Year's with some friends, but that means I'm making like 6 videos in one night, which is going to be got a little stressful, but it's fun. And that also means I won't be able to heart as many comments, so I'll do my best. Anyways, back to the story. Anyways, right, so Tommy's just like, okay, Sam, like, no worries, bro. Like, it's still cool. I'm having a good time. Yeah, it's a little weird, like, that your sister is unironically stalking me, but it's cool. Like, it is what it is. Like, you're a cool dude. I'm having a good time. And Tommy's like, okay, I feel weird for you, bro. Like, I just feel weird for you. Let's go inside. Let's just like, I don't know, let's like throw on some YouTube or something. Maybe watch a movie. I don't really know. Let's just go inside. So they go inside, right? And they're in the kitchen. He's like, yo, do you want anything? And Sam's kind of Tommy's a little thirsty, man. And he's like, actually, yes, Sam, I could do with a glass of water if that's cool. And Sam's like, yeah, no, of course that's cool, bro. Don't worry about it. So he gets him a glass of water, and Tommy's just kind of like sipping away on it, and then Sam's like, hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go set up like the TV. It's upstairs. It just takes a second. It's kind of annoying, right? So just I'll be back, like, or when you're done, come up. It's just up the stairs to your left. Like, I'm gonna be setting it up. Just come up when you're done with the water. No rush at all. So Sam leaves them, and Tommy's just kind of chilling in the kitchen, looking around. It's a pretty nice kitchen, apparently. There's like, a little like marble tabletop. The cupboards are nice. They're just freshly painted or something. Maybe they're wooden. I'm trying to envision a nice kitchen, right? And he's just chilling, enjoying his water. The refreshing fluids that we all depend on to live, enjoying it, gulping down you get the point. And until he is rudely disturbed. So Natalie walks into the kitchen. She's like, hi. And Tommy's like, hello. And she's like, I have some questions for you. And at this point, Tommy's like, okay. That sounds fine, I guess, right? And Natalie's like, where do you live? Just an epic entry question. Here's the thing. It's totally normal to be like, yo, like, where are you from, right? She doesn't phrase that. She's like, where do you live? Like, what is your address? Where is your location of residence? Can you give me the P.O. box as well? Like, oh my God, chill out. Oh my God. And he's like, I don't live too far from here. Doesn't say exactly where. And she's like, interesting. What is your date of birth? Instead of like, what is your birth? Like, just like, oh, how old are you, right? Like, oh, like, what grade are you in, bro? Like, how old are you? Just normal things you'd ask. She's like, when is your date of birth? What is your mother's maiden? She doesn't ask for mother's maiden name. She's not actually like a super genius criminal, cyber hacker, whatever, who's going to steal his like bank account and buy a Ferrari. No, she's just very interested in the man and is wording her questions a little weird. The guy, the poor Tommy, right? He's weirded out. I mean, this girl's had a history of past behavior that makes her a little strange, to say the least. Anyways, right? He says it. He says, I was born, given birthday, right? And she's like, interesting. And then she says, do you have a girlfriend right now? And he's like, because at this point, he's like, okay, this girl is either into me or she's like about to kidnap me and my family. I'm not 100% sure. But if she is more likely into me than not, right? Maybe I should say yes and she'll stop. Or maybe she'll like hunt me down even farther because like apparently like girls like it when you play hard to get. Before Tommy can even open his mouth to give an answer, which to be honest, he was probably going to stutter because he wasn't even sure what he's going to answer to that question because, oh my God, it's layered, right? Sam walks in and he's like, Nat, because that's like the nickname or whatever for Natalie. Nat, bro, why, sis? Like, what? Like, I heard you, like, I just walked in on you asking these weird questions. Why are you being so weird today, dude? And Natalie's like, I'm not being weird. I'm just asking your friend Tommy some questions. And he's like, no, that's weird. The question was weird. You were looking at him or looking at us. I don't know. That was weird. Today, earlier, when we were playing games, she said, I was just watching you guys play games. And then he's like, okay, but then what about a basketball? And she's like, I was just watching you guys play basketball. When you looked up, I didn't want you guys to feel weird, so I went away. And I'm just asking your friend some questions. He's like, nope, this is weird, Natalie, this is weird. I just want to have some time with my friend. Like, can you go? And she's like, okay, that's fine. And she walks away. At this point, like, Tommy was feeling a little weird, but he was also kind of paying attention. He heard what she said, and he's like, you know what? Maybe, right? Maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe she's just a curious person. Maybe she was actually interested in the game. Maybe she wasn't actually staring at me the whole time, even though I caught her staring at me both times, and then she looked away to pretend like she wasn't staring at me, and then asked me all these very odd and specific questions. No, it's just a coincidence. She must just be, she must be normal, dude. Anyways, right, so yeah, Natalie eventually leaves. Tommy and Sam, They go and watch like a movie. It's a chill show. I don't even know. Maybe they, yeah, you know what? They were watching some regular show. I have no idea what they were watching, but that's a bomb show. And honestly, anyone who does gets my respect. If you watch regular show, plus 10 Connor social credit points or whatever. Anyways, right? So they're done with their day, and Sam's like, Tommy's like, thank you, Sam, bro, for having me over. Like, maybe you can come over to my house. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry about my sister. And Tommy's like, dude, it really is nothing. Like, she was probably just curious. Like, it's really no big deal. He's like, thanks, bro. Like, love to have you over again. And so Tommy was walking back home. He was just thinking about the good time he had. He wasn't even thinking about, the sister who was being a little weird. He wasn't even thinking about Natalie for a second, right? And then he gets a notification on his phone. He looks down, and it's from a number that's not his contacts. And it says, hi. And then after that, he gets another text like 30 seconds later. And there's a text saying, hey, is this Tommy? And Tommy's like, that's a little weird, right? He doesn't think too much of it, but he's like, who's this? And then, he sees the 3 bubbles pop up, and then they go away. And then the 3 bubbles pop up, aka the person is typing. I kind of gave it away. Shoot. The magical person who we don't know, is typing, right? And then after like 2 minutes, he gets a notification because now he's walking. And he's walking for like a couple minutes. He checks his phone, and like 2 minutes ago, he got a text message saying, not saying, with a winky face, and he's like, red flag, red flag, red flag. Anyways, so he's just like weirded out. And then he gets another text message saying, like, hey, cutie, do you have a girlfriend? And it was like, he was like, no shot. No shot this is Natalie. And he doesn't send a text saying, is this Natalie? Because she'd be like, whoever this is, you guys don't know. I definitely didn't spoil it a second ago because I'm an idiot. Whoever's texting, probably if it was Natalie, if it was, right, wouldn't want to spoil it, wouldn't want to give it away. So what he does is he copies the number, he takes a screenshot, and he sends it to, Sam. He's like, yo, is this your sister's number? And he's like, what the, dude, like, what's, like, yes, that's my sister's number. I have it saved. I just checked. Why is she being so weird? I'm going to go talk to her right now. And then he gets a text, and it's like from Sam, and it reads, she claims she has no idea what I'm talking about, but dude, that's her number. I'm so sorry. I don't know why she's being weird. Like, she says it's not her, but it's definitely her, dude. I'm so sorry, right? And he's just right at this point, Tommy's like, okay, that's a little weird, but he's just going about his day. He's living his life. He's having a good time. And as he's kind of strolling down the street, he gets a text message saying, you'll regret that. And he's like, what? Context, please? Anything help? What? Just looking at the message like, so he then he screenshots it, sends it to Sam, and Sam sends him all cap locks like, bro, I don't know what's up with her. So apparently Sam then goes and talks to her again. And at this point, she then confesses, and it's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just thought he was really cute. And Sam's like, this is not how you treat someone who you think is cute. This is also not how you treat my friend. He's a cool dude. He just came over. We're just like all that kind of stuff. And she's like, I'm sorry. I won't talk to him again. And she doesn't. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then watch another story video or you're bad. Bye. Today's story is about the nastiest sister on planet Earth. It gets gross. It gets revolting. It gets, well, let's just say it gets bad. Enjoy. So the subscriber who sent in the story, let's just call the kid Jake, right? Jake. Jake has his friend. Let's call him Finn. Adventure time. Come grab. Anyways, right, so, Finn and Jake were good buddies. And, one day they decided that one of these weekends they wanted to hang out. And they decided they wanted to go on a hike, maybe hang out a little bit afterwards. And, so Jake decides to go over to Finn's house. And Finn has a younger sister, right? Finn has a younger sister. And Finn's younger sister, she isn't really into, like, the whole, stereotypical things that girls might be into at this age. She didn't like playing with Barbie. She didn't like, pink stuff or whatever. Like, kind of like, stereotype of, like, I don't know, girls her age, what they'd be into. But, she was, like, she was really into kind of, like, she was into a lot of, like, stereotypically, like, guy stuff. And she definitely liked, she wanted to, at least in this case, she wanted to kind of, like, prove to the guys, right, Finn and Jake, that she was cool enough to hang out with them and that she liked similar stuff to them or whatever.
And so anyways, right, so Jake and Finn, or Finn and Jake, it just sounds so much better when I say Finn and Jake. I've just heard that so many more times. So Finn and Jake, they go over, or Jake goes over to Finn's house, and they're ready to go on their hike, right? They want to go on a hike. It's, Finn lives pretty close to, one of the, like, some kind of, like a mountain range-ish. Like, it's not huge. This isn't like Mount Everest or something. They don't have to like train for 6 months to go on this little hike, but it's a decent mountain range. There's like some wildlife. It's gonna be fun, right? Anyways, right, so, they get there, and, Jake, he goes over to Finn's house, and, Finn kind of wants to just do this hike with just Jake, right? He kind of just wants to do it just with his friend, but, like, all of the night before, his little sister, who, there's going to be too many names, I'm going to mess them up, so we're just calling Finn's little sister the little sister, okay? Too many names for me to forget, too many names for me to mess up. I'm pretty good at messing stuff up. Anyway, so the entire night before, Finn's little sister was actually talking about how much she wanted to go on this hike. And, Finn's mom was like, all right, Finn, like, I know, like, you just want to go on the hike with Jake, but your little sister would love to come along. And at this point, Finn's like, dude, I don't want my little sister to come along. Like, they weren't necessarily not cool, right? It wasn't like that they were, like, beefing or anything, but sometimes you just want to do something with your friend. I mean, that's totally understandable in my opinion. But Finn's mom was like, okay, like, come on, like, she really wants to go, Finn, like, it'd be so nice if you did. And Finn was like kind of not budging at the time, but eventually, right, Finn's little sister was making enough of like enough of a scene that Finn's like, okay, fine, you can come, but you can't say anything. You can't get in the way of what we want to do, right? And she was like, yeah, whatever, right? So he's kind of bummed about that. But Finn's little sister was really like, okay, I really want to prove to them that I'm cool enough to hang out with them. Because, right, she wanted to come, but she also didn't want to be a nuisance, man. Finn's little sister didn't like that feeling of being a nuisance. So she's like, all right, I got to figure out a way to, like, prove to them that I'm cool. I got to figure out a way to prove to them that, like, I'm with them or whatever. So, she kind of just assumed that, like, guys like gross things. And the thing is, like, Finn and Jake, they definitely like their fair share of, like, oh, dude, that's so gross or whatever. But Finn's little sister decided that it would be her prerogative, that it would be her duty, her goal, her adventure, her whatever, right? To be basically to do the grossest things possible on this hike to entertain them and to prove to them that she was one of them. And let me just say that she really went above and beyond in the worst ways possible, and it got pretty bad. It got pretty bad. Anyways, right, back to the hike. So Jake gets there, and Finn explains to him, like, hey, dude, like, my little sister's coming along with us. And at first, Jake in his head's like, bro, why? But he was like, okay, dude, totally fine. Right, so, Finn, Jake, and Finn's little sister, they all, they gear up, they get ready to go on the hike. I think, they bring a backpack with them. I think, like, Finn or Jake has it. It has, like, a lunch packed in there. It has some water bottles. It has, like, some sunscreen. It has some bug repellent. Has the classic Bitcoin mining machine because, they got to be on that grind 24/7, baby. Let's go. Get that bread, baby. Let's go. Anyways, on the walk, right, they're hiking up the trail. They just started it. It's a nice day. They're having a good time, man. Like, the weather's nice. It's not too buggy. They're climbing up. They're seeing some cool stuff. And on the way up, right, there's some cobwebs. There's some cobwebs by the side of like a tree or something. And this is the point where, Finn's little sister is like, all right, here's my first opportunity to prove to them that I'm cool, that I'm one of them, that, this is not a mistake to bring me along. And she's like, guys, look at these cobwebs, man. Like, look at this spider, man. And they all kind of like turn around like, oh, okay, yeah, this little spider, like, ooh, whatever, right? And Finn wasn't a big fan of, or Jake wasn't a big fan of spiders, but, whatever. He was like, ah, ha, ha, yeah, look at that spider. And then Finn's little sister's like, watch me do this, guys. At this point, they're kind of like, what? Like, what is she about to do, man? Like, watch you do what? What are we watching you do? And they watch her. They watch her go pick up this spider with their hands, and they're like, okay, dude, like, keep that thing away from us, man. Like, keep that thing a good distance, man. Like, keep that thing away from us. Because, like, they weren't a fan of spiders, bro. Like, they didn't, like, especially, like, okay, so, like, Finn was okay, but Jake was definitely not a big fan. Jake took, like, 17 steps back, just, like, rapid fire, boom, boom, boom. But he's like, no, I'm good, bro. And she's like, watch me do this. And then she sticks out her tongue, and Finn, who's starting to realize, like, what his little sister's about to do, is like, what are you doing there, little sis? Like, what are you doing there? And she's like, watch this. And she sticks out her tongue, drops the spider on her tongue, chews. And at this point, like, Jake's about to gag, bro. He's like, like he just can't handle it, man. I mean, and she's like, it's the grossest thing ever. And at this point, like, Finn's like, dude, why would you do that? And she's like, delicious. They're just like, oh. You're probably thinking, all right, it can't get worse than that. You guys are very, very wrong. I don't want to tell the rest of the story because I personally really don't like spiders. I used to really not like them when I was like a little kid. I was like really afraid of them. Like if you showed me a photo of a spider, I would be out of the room in like 5 seconds. And I'm not at that level anymore, but I just don't like spiders, man. Like I get it. They eat mosquitoes and stuff I don't like. So like they're cool. We're not boys, but we're cool, right? But dude, I just don't want to. Anyways, I'll tell the story for you guys. I'm doing it for you. Finn's sister was like, oh, we're not done yet, boys. And they're just like, what? Like, what? What do you mean you're not done? There's more damage you can do? Huh? Finn's little sister, she goes back to the spider web. And you know what she grabs? She grabs the spider egg sack. Oh, God. It's just so bad. Anyways, the story's good, though. I have to tell it. And she takes the spider egg sack. And at this point, Jake is like, bro, I'm out of here, dude. I can't do this, man. I can't do, dude. If I was there with Jake, I'd be like, you know what, Jake, let's get out of here, bro. I'm not doing this either. Anyways, right? She takes the spider egg sack and she's like, watch this. I'm not going to go into the details for this one. Personally, it grosses me out a little bit too much. But she does the same thing that she did with the spider. Dude, I can't even. Okay, I'm skipping over the details. Imagine as much as you'd like. I'm not doing that. Point right. Jake is traumatized. Finn is just in disbelief, and Finn's little sister has this big old grin on her face because she's like, finally, the boys will accept me, man. The boys will accept me. And so Finn's like, you know what? Let's just keep walking. Let's just finish up this hike. Let's have a good time. And, they decide maybe the best call is to keep going on the trail. So they keep walking, and Finn is scarred. Jake is scarred ×2, and Finn's little sister is just sitting there smugly laughing like, kind of thinking, yeah, I'm now cool with the boys. But Jake and Finn were already kind of cool with her. They didn't really care. Like, she was totally fine on the hike. Yeah, they wanted to do that stuff together because they're just friends, whatever, right? But they didn't care, bro. Like, they didn't need some validation or anything, especially, like, if she's gonna validate herself, there's just so many other ways to do it besides, I'm not even going into it anymore. But here's the thing. She doesn't stop there. She doesn't stop. Today's keyword is spider, so if you made it this far into the video, comment spider in the comment section down below. I'm going to try and heart as many of those comments as I can, just realize I can't get to them all, and I probably only heart like 30%, but I do spend like a good hour or two on my phone hearting comments. So I'll do my best, but no guarantees. But yeah, if you want to get farm as many hearts as possible and maybe get top commenter or whatever, commenting spider in your comment or literally just commenting spider by itself is the best way to do it. Also, it's your lucky day. It's your lucky day because for every single person who leaves a like on this video, this isn't a scam, by the way, you will be getting your very own nothing. Your nothing will magically appear right after you leave a like on this video. So yeah, 5,000 likes and I'll do an eyelash reveal. I'll actually reveal my eyelash at 5,000 likes, no joke. Anyways, right at this point, Finn and Jake completely scarred, Finn's little sister laughing away, and they just keep going on their hike. And at this point, Jake, he's just kind of ready to go home. He's seen enough for like 2 lifetimes at this point. He's kind of done. He's kind of ready. He's kind of at that point. And, they're wrapping up and, they get to the top of the mountain or whatever. And there's a bit of like a field. There's a bit like not a field, but like a pasture type thing. Not a pasture. Actually, I'm lying again. Oh my God, I suck at this. There's kind of like a field. I was right the first time. And, in this field, it's a lot of grass and like plants and like some trees around the edges. And it's just like, it's nice out. It's warm. It's just kind of a nice moment for all of them. Well, it was a nice moment before Finn's little sister decided to make it a little bit less of a nice moment. You guys will see in 1 second. Finn's little sister, you know what she finds? She finds a pile of excrement, defecation. I don't know, dude.
This is from some animal, right? She finds some like, you know, some doo-doo from an animal. Yeah. And she finds it, she's like, LOL, look at this. And they're all like, aha, aha, aha. They were terrified, man. Because the last time she said, look at this, it was the spider. So they were in just like complete fear. And then Finn's little sister takes her foot, which is, you know, in a shoe or whatever, and just stomps it in the pile. And Finn's like, why would you do that? Like, why? What is your incentive? What is your motivation? Why would you do that? Oh my God. And she looks at them and she's like, do you want to lick it? And they're like, what the fuck? What? And she like lifts up her boot, which is now covered in all this stuff. She's like, do you want to lick it? Did you hear me? Do you want to lick it? They're just looking at her like, no, no, we're good. What? And she's like, if you're not going to lick it, I'm going to lick it. And at this point, you know, Finn's like, no, you are not. You are not about to do that. And unfortunately, she takes that as like a challenge. So she takes off her boot, brings it up to her mouth, and Finn's like, no, you do not want to do that. You do not want to do that. Oh my God, you do not want to, please. Their despair, despite their pleading, despite their cries and terror and pain and fear, she ends up licking her boot. And at this point, Jake's like, all right, this is a good time to wrap it up, man. I think this is a good time to go. This is a good time to just wrap things up, if you know what I mean. I think it's time. Okay. Finn, it is time for us to go, Finn, it is time for us to go. And Finn's like, yep, it is time for us to go. And Finn's little sister is just like laughing or whatever. As disgusting as that was, she somehow was like, all right, you know what? Now I'm accepted by the guys. At this point, right, they're all walking down and they're kind of at this point, right, Jake is kind of speed walking. Finn is like, what happened today? And at one point, like 10 minutes on their walk down, they're not talking that much. But Finn's little sister, right, she comes up to Finn and she's like, hey, Finn, I'm not feeling so good. And Finn is like, oh, really? You're not feeling good? But then Finn's little sister's like, I'm really not feeling good, Finn. I'm really not feeling good. And Finn's like, shoot, like God damn, of course you're not feeling good. And he's like, okay, let's go. And they get in the car. And at this point, she's like, Finn, I'm really not feeling good. And he's like, oh, God. And so what Finn does is, you know, Finn brings them back. And Finn kind of like says, hey, mom, can we talk for a second? At this point, Finn's little sister went upstairs to go lay down. Finn explains everything that happened, saying that it was kind of out of his control and like he has no idea why she did that. And Finn's mom is like, oh my God, okay, she's not feeling good. Let's take her to the hospital, right? So Jake didn't go to the hospital with them. Jake was picked up by his mom. And Jake was the one who sent in the story, right? You can send in stories too to my Instagram in the description. But basically, right, Finn told Jake what happened the next day. So apparently what happened after Jake left was that Finn's little sister, and Finn's mom, they all drove to the hospital. And yeah, when they got there, the doctor was like, ooh, there's a lot of bad stuff going on down here. And they basically like gave her some antibiotic or something, and it kind of like cleaned up the whole situation. But believe it or not, there's a reason why you don't do the things that Finn's little sister did. There's a reason. It's called You'll Get Super Sick. Subscribe if you haven't already, and now go watch another video. Click on one of the videos on screen. Dude, I'll actually cry if you don't click on a video.